What if you never had to worry about spoilage again? What if the foods you pack today could feed your family in 2050 and still taste just as good? Welcome to the world of powdered survival foods, the ultimate prepper's secret weapon. These aren't your average just add water convenience items. These are nutrient-dense, space-saving, shelf-stable powerhouses built to last decades. In a world where fresh food disappears in days and canned goods start to rust after a few years, powdered foods step up. With 30, 50-year shelf lives, minimal weight, and versatile usage, they've become a cornerstone of serious long-term prepping. But not all powdered foods are created equal. Some are fillers, others are survival gold. And here is the complete list. It's a ranked guide to what's actually worth your space, your money, and your future. Let's kick things off from the bottom of the list and work our way to the top, starting with a survival food that sweetens more than just your morning brew. Number 10, powdered honey. You might think of honey as that golden liquid in your pantry, but in powdered form, it becomes a prepper's dream. Powdered honey offers all the sweetness and medicinal power of raw honey, with none of the mess or spoilage. And here's the best part. When stored properly, it has an indefinite shelf life. That's right. This is one of the few foods on Earth that can outlast you. But powdered honey isn't just for comfort. It's fuel. With a high glycemic index, it provides a quick burst of energy, which is crucial in high-stress survival scenarios. Whether you're bugging out, rationing calories, or recovering from illness, a spoonful of this stuff can go a long way. Unlike regular honey, which crystallizes and becomes difficult to handle in cold temperatures, powdered honey stays shelf-stable and easy to portion. Just add water when you need it or sprinkle it directly onto oatmeal, baked goods, or even jerky for a sweet kick. And there's more than just flavor here. Honey is naturally antibacterial, making it not only a sweetener but a potential aid for sore throats, wounds, and burns. In powdered form, you can even mix it with a few drops of water to make a natural salve or paste when first aid supplies run low. It's also an emotional comfort. In a long-term survival situation, morale matters. A little sweetness can go a long way toward maintaining sanity and routine, especially for children. You can add it to coffee or tea, use it for baking when sugar is scarce, sprinkle it on dehydrated pancakes or rehydrated fruit, or mix it with cinnamon for a survival-friendly anti-inflammatory blend. In short, powdered honey may be at the bottom of this list, but it's anything but dispensable. It's a morale booster, an energy source, and a low-maintenance luxury that lasts longer than most marriages. Number 9, powdered cheese. No fridge? No problem. Powdered cheese turns one of the most perishable foods into a long-term survival MVP. Now let's be clear. We're not talking about the weird plastic shavings from a gas station nacho dispenser. We're talking about real dehydrated cheddar or Parmesan, aka the good stuff in powdered form, with a shelf life of 20 to 30 years when stored in Mylar with oxygen absorbers. What makes it valuable isn't just flavor, it's fat and calories. In a crisis, your body needs dense energy sources, and cheese delivers. High-fat foods are hard to store without refrigeration, but powdered cheese skips that problem entirely. Just a couple tablespoons can turn bland rice into mac and cheese. Stir it into powdered potatoes, sprinkle it over rehydrated pasta, or mix it with powdered milk to create a creamy sauce. In survival situations, that little punch of flavor can break the monotony and boost morale. But it's not all comfort. Fat is essential for brain function, energy storage, and nutrient absorption. And during a crisis, fat becomes hard to find and even harder to store. Powdered cheese helps fill that gap. It's shelf-stable, compact, and surprisingly versatile. Want to get creative? Use it as a base for homemade shelf-stable dips, combine it with chili powder for seasoning mixes, or add it to protein bars for savory sweet combos. If you've got kids, even better. Cheese powder turns basic rations into something they'll actually eat. And don't forget, calories equal survival. While others burn through canned beans and feel hungry again, an hour later, you'll have high-calorie flavor bombs ready to fortify any meal. Use it in mac and cheese to thicken soups, flavor rice or quinoa, or add fat and richness to rehydrated meals. It's not flashy, it's not pretty. But powdered cheese does one thing really well. Make survival food taste like real food, and that's worth its weight in gold. Number 8, powdered butter. Let's face it, butter is the unsung hero of comfort food. It's what makes meals rich, hearty, and satisfying. But in a long-term crisis, Real butter becomes one of the first casualties. It melts, it spoils, and it's impossible to store for more than a few weeks without refrigeration. Enter powdered butter, a prepper's secret weapon for adding flavor, fat, and function back into a grid-down kitchen. At first glance, it may seem like a luxury, but in survival situations, butter is much more than a garnish. It's a dense source of calories, a cooking fat, and a psychological comfort wrapped into one. Powdered butter is made by dehydrating real butter, which removes the moisture but leaves behind the fats, flavor, and texture. When stored in a cool, dark place in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, it can last up to 10-15 years and even longer in optimal conditions. That's decades of buttery goodness without needing a single ice cube. Why does this matter? Because fat is one of the hardest things to store long-term and also one of the most critical nutrients for survival. It fuels your brain, helps your body absorb vitamins, and keeps you full longer. And while most survival kits load up on carbs and proteins, fats are often overlooked until your body starts craving them. Just a few tablespoons of powdered butter can transform rehydrated rice, instant potatoes, or freeze-dried vegetables into something that feels like home. It can be used to make bannock bread, scrambled powdered eggs, or even shelf-stable sauces. And if you're baking in a solar oven or Dutch oven, butter powder brings your recipes back to life. You can mix it with a bit of water to reconstitute it, or sprinkle it dry into food for added richness. Some brands even include real milk solids for a creamier texture once mixed. It's great for cooking, baking, frying, and flavoring dry meals, pairing perfectly with powdered eggs, potatoes, and even long-term bread mixes. In a survival scenario, morale matters and few things restore a sense of normalcy like the smell of something buttery cooking on a hot pan. Powdered butter isn't just about luxury, it's about giving your meals a much-needed edge of nutrition and comfort when you need it most. Number 7. Powdered potatoes. When the grid goes down and calories become currency, few foods pull their weight like potatoes. But fresh spuds are bulky, bruise easily, and spoil in weeks. That's why powdered potatoes are a prepper's dream. They pack all the comfort and calories of the real thing, but they last for 30 years or more when stored properly. Don't confuse these with low-quality instant mash pouches. We're talking about dehydrated, shelf-stable potato flakes or granules, often with no added preservatives, that rehydrate into warm, filling meals in minutes. Why are powdered potatoes so critical? 2 reasons: calories and versatility. First, they're a dense carb source, meaning they'll keep you full, warm, and energized. In survival terms, that's gold. When you're living off limited food, you need meals that stick to your ribs and sustain your body. A serving of rehydrated potato can provide over 200 calories with minimal fuel, water, or time. Second, they're incredibly easy to use. Just add boiling water, a pinch of salt, and maybe some powdered butter or cheese, and you've got a satisfying dish in under 5 minutes. No peeling, no boiling, no waste. They're also an excellent base for layering flavors. Combine them with powdered milk, garlic powder, freeze-dried herbs, or canned meat to build hearty stews, shepherd's pie, or survival casseroles. Want to make them stretch further? Mix them with ground oats or flour to make survival pancakes or thick bread-like patties. The possibilities are endless, and the shelf life, even better. And let's not forget how vital familiar textures and tastes are during high-stress situations. Potatoes are comfort food, plain and simple. A hot bowl of mashed potatoes during a cold night without power can be more than a meal. It can be mental medicine. You can use them for mashed potatoes, thickening soups, as a base for bread or pancakes, or to create carb-loaded energy meals. If your food storage plan is loaded with beans, rice, and protein but lacks bulk comfort carbs, powdered potatoes are your answer. They're cheap, long-lasting, and incredibly adaptable. In short, they're survival fuel in powdered form. Number 6. Powdered vegetables, carrots, spinach, peppers, etc. In any long-term survival situation, there's one threat more dangerous than boredom or bad weather: malnutrition. That's where powdered vegetables earn their place in your stockpile. Because let's be real, cans don't last forever, fresh won't survive a week, and vitamin pills run out fast. But powdered carrots, spinach, kale, onions, and bell peppers, they're lightweight, shelf-stable, and can last 25 to 30 years when stored right. More importantly, they deliver what most survival kits lack: real, plant-based nutrition. Fiber, antioxidants, vitamins A, C, and K. These aren't just nice to have. They're critical to immune function, digestion, and basic energy levels. Especially when your daily diet starts to lean heavy on rice, beans, and shelf-stable starches, vegetables are your nutrient anchor. And here's the best part. Powdered vegetables are incredibly easy to use. You don't need to rehydrate them separately. Just sprinkle them directly into boiling water, soups, stews, or sauces, and let them do the work. They melt into the background and boost the nutritional profile of every bite. Got picky eaters? No problem. The powdered form blends invisibly into meals, so even kids who hate spinach won't notice when it's in the mashed potatoes or rice. It's stealth health in survival form. Want to make them go further? Mix veggie powders into homemade bread dough, pancake batter, or egg scrambles. You can even make your own green super mix by combining spinach, kale, broccoli, and beet powders to create an energy-boosting drink when fresh greens are gone. You can use powdered vegetables in soup bases as sauce enhancers, mixed into pasta or casseroles, blended into survival smoothies, or even packed into fortified ration bars. One more reason to stock up? Digestive health. In survival settings, dehydration, stress, and poor diet can wreak havoc on your gut. Vegetables provide the fiber you need to keep things moving. And trust us, constipation in a crisis, that's the last thing you want to deal with. Powdered vegetables won't be your main course, but they complete the survival plate. They're the insurance policy your immune system needs. So while others live off starch and salt, you'll have what they don't: balance. And in survival, that's power. Number 5, powdered peanut butter, high in protein, packed with calories, loved by kids and adults alike. But regular peanut butter, it goes rancid. It's heavy, and once opened, the clock starts ticking. Enter powdered peanut butter, the long-term prepping version of everyone's favorite spread. When stored in a sealed Mylar bag with oxygen absorbers, this stuff can last 15 to 25 years, sometimes even longer, and it retains almost all the protein and taste of the original. Made by removing the oils from roasted peanuts, which cause spoilage, powdered peanut butter is lightweight, shelf-stable, and incredibly versatile. Let's talk nutrition. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter powder deliver around 8 grams of protein, with enough fat and calories to fuel a hard day's work even in a grid-down world. It's one of the best non-animal protein sources you can store long-term. You can rehydrate it with water for a traditional peanut butter spread, or get creative. Mix it dry into smoothies, oatmeal, protein bars, or even sauces for Asian-style dishes. Stir it into powdered milk and honey for an improvised high-calorie survival shake. More importantly, peanut butter is morale food. It's familiar, it's comforting, and it can make otherwise boring meals feel like home. Spread it on survival bread, use it in powdered banana sandwiches, or turn it into a sweet treat with a little cocoa and sugar. And here's something preppers love. It doesn't take up much space. A single number 10 can of peanut butter powder can give you over 70 servings. That's a whole lot of protein in a small footprint. You can use it in protein shakes, survival snacks, homemade ration bars, rehydrated spreads, cookies, or peanut-based sauces. If your protein supply is too meat-heavy or freezer-reliant, powdered peanut butter is your answer. No refrigeration, no spoilage, just long-term plant-based energy that actually tastes good. In survival planning, every item should earn its place. This one earns it with taste, nutrition, and long-haul reliability. Number 4, powdered eggs. If there's one food that silently holds your survival pantry together, it's this one. Powdered eggs don't just offer protein, they bring structure, flavor, and real-world function to your meals. While fresh eggs break, spoil, and vanish from shelves in any disaster, powdered eggs can sit quietly on your shelf for 30 years and still whip up into a hot breakfast in minutes. These aren't just survival food, they're a bridge back to normalcy. What makes them so valuable is that they provide both protein and fat in a single serving. In a survival scenario, those 2 macronutrients aren't just helpful, they're essential. Protein maintains muscle mass and energy. Fats keep your brain running and your body satisfied. Powdered eggs hit both marks, and they're packed with vital vitamins like B12 and D that most other shelf-stable foods simply lack. But beyond the nutrition, powdered eggs are irreplaceably versatile. You can scramble them in a pan just like the real thing. You can mix them into pancake batter. You can bake with them, bind ingredients in meatloaf, or fold them into casseroles. They behave like real eggs because they are real eggs, just with the water removed. In a world where baking powder and freeze-dried sausage may be all you've got, powdered eggs are what hold your recipes together. They also rehydrate fast. 1 tablespoon of powder and 2 tablespoons of water is all it takes. Stir, pour, cook. And unlike fragile fresh eggs, they don't crack, leak, or need refrigeration. You can store them in a number 10 can, a vacuum-sealed pouch, or even in single-serve packets if you're planning for bug-out situations. And because they're light and compact, you get dozens of servings in a fraction of the space. The beauty of powdered eggs is that they don't just feed your body, they unlock your kitchen. Suddenly, you're not limited to boiling rice or reheating soup. You're baking. You're making real food. And in a world where routines have collapsed, that one sense of normalcy could be the difference between surviving and breaking. Number 3, powdered milk. Powdered milk isn't just a staple, it's a cornerstone. Quietly sitting in your pantry, it's one of the few foods that checks all the survival boxes. It stores for decades, supports multiple diets, mixes into everything, and provides calories, protein, fat, and vital nutrients all in one scoop. When the world outside is unpredictable, powdered milk is a calm, steady resource you can trust to keep your family going. When fresh milk becomes a luxury of the past, this stuff steps in without missing a beat. Rehydrated, it can be poured over cereal, stirred into coffee, or handed to a child who's had nothing but water for days. It gives you flexibility. It keeps your meals from feeling cold and mechanical. And most importantly, it fills serious nutritional gaps. Powdered milk is loaded with calcium, which your body can't go without for long. It supports bone strength, muscle function, and immunity, especially important when you're under stress and working harder than usual. Protein matters even more when the meat supply disappears. With every glass, powdered milk delivers a clean dose of protein without the need for refrigeration or cooking. It also contains essential vitamins like D and A, nutrients that can drop dangerously low if you're relying on carbs and canned foods alone. Its versatility is where it truly shines. Mix it into pancake batter, use it to make creamy pasta, stir it into mashed potatoes, or add it to soups for a richer broth. In baking, it brings softness and depth back to your dough. And if you've got powdered cheese or butter, it helps recreate those classic comfort foods you thought were long gone. For families with infants or young kids, powdered milk becomes even more valuable. It can be used to make simple formulas when nothing else is available, and it provides the kind of dense, all-around nutrition that's hard to replicate with other powders. It's also cost-effective and compact. A single can may serve dozens of glasses, and its shelf life, when stored properly, stretches well into the 2050s and beyond. Powdered milk may look unassuming, but don't let that fool you. In a world without supermarkets, refrigeration, or daily deliveries, it's one of the few foods that can support you nutritionally, emotionally, and practically every single day of the crisis. Number 2, powdered whey protein. When everything else in your survival pantry runs low, this is the one thing you'll wish you had more of. Powdered whey protein is more than a gym supplement. It's a life-sustaining resource. In long-term emergencies, when your body is under constant physical and mental strain, protein isn't a suggestion. It's a requirement. Most preppers load up on beans, rice, and canned goods, but many overlook one critical fact. Those foods are carb-heavy and protein-light. And when you're chopping firewood, walking miles for water, or just staying warm in sub-zero temperatures, your muscles will burn through reserves fast. You're not lounging in a bunker, you're surviving. That requires fuel. Whey protein is one of the most complete bioavailable sources of protein on Earth. It contains all 9 essential amino acids, digests quickly, and fuels muscle recovery almost immediately. That's not just for athletes, that's for any human trying to keep going when the grid is gone. It stores for over 20 to 30 years in Mylar bags or sealed cans. It takes up almost no space, and it can be mixed into virtually anything. Smoothies, oatmeal, soups, ration bars, even rehydrated milk or peanut butter. Just 2 tablespoons deliver as much as 20 grams of clean protein. That's the difference between staying sharp or falling apart. You can stretch meals farther by adding protein to otherwise weak dishes. Rice and beans? Add a scoop. Mashed potatoes? Mix some in. It turns average meals into complete meals with muscle-saving protein, not just filler. And if you're caring for children, elderly relatives, or anyone sick or injured, whey becomes non-negotiable. It's one of the few powdered foods that can restore strength quickly with very little effort. No cooking, no cleanup, just water, shake, drink, and survive another day. When prepping for long-term survival, this isn't about luxury, it's about math. You need calories, yes, but you also need the right kind. Calories that repair, not just fill. Powdered whey protein is pound for pound the most efficient, scalable, and long-lasting protein option available. And when everything around you feels fragile, this is what makes your body harder to break. Number 1, powdered soup mixes. There's one food on this list that checks every box: nutrition, hydration, flavor, shelf life, simplicity, and most of all, comfort. That food is powdered soup. You might be thinking, really? Soup? But when the power's out, the weather's brutal, and you haven't eaten a hot meal in days, a single cup of steaming soup can feel like medicine for the soul. And not just emotionally. Powdered soup mixes deliver real nutrition and hydration in one lightweight, long-lasting package. Good soup mixes are more than just bouillon. They're layered with protein, dried veggies, complex carbs, and healing minerals like sodium and potassium that prevent dehydration and keep your system running smoothly. Bone broth, in particular, offers collagen, amino acids, and gut-soothing properties that help your body repair under stress. They store for 30 years or more when sealed properly and weigh almost nothing compared to cans. You don't need much to make a meal, just hot water and time. And in many cases, you don't even need boiling water. A long soak in warm water can activate them enough to be edible, which makes them perfect for low-fuel survival. But here's the hidden value: morale. When stress is high, meals become more than food. They become a ritual, a moment of peace, something to look forward to. Soup isn't just sustenance, it's stability in a bowl. It warms your hands, your gut, and your head. And when your family is cold, scared, or tired, a hot meal with familiar flavor might be what holds everyone together. Soup is also endlessly versatile. Add powdered cheese for richness. Toss in powdered vegetables for nutrition. Use it as a base to rehydrate rice, pasta, or meat. Or just sip it plain, slowly, and feel your energy return. When other preppers are choking down bland rice or chewing through another MRE, you'll be sitting by the fire, sipping something that actually tastes like home. And in the hardest times, that comfort becomes strength. That's why powdered soup takes the top spot. It's the most complete survival food in powdered form. Hydrating, healing, easy to store, easy to prepare, and impossible to replace. No bunker is truly stocked until it has a shelf lined with soups that can go the distance. If all of this sounds overwhelming, good. It should. Because stocking up on powdered foods isn't just about convenience. It's about outlasting the worst. When the trucks stop rolling and the shelves go empty, it's not the fanciest gear that keeps you alive. It's the quiet, unglamorous staples you were smart enough to store. Powdered foods may not look like much now, but give it a few weeks without power, and suddenly they're worth more than gold. And the truth is, this list only scratches the surface. Day by day, your body, your energy, and your mindset will depend on what you've stored now, not what you wish you had later. So stay ready. Because what comes next? It's tougher, leaner, and even more demanding. Subscribe now and hit that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. We're diving even deeper into survival prep for the year ahead and beyond. And before you go, drop us a comment. What's the one powdered food you wish you had more of or regret not stocking up on sooner? We read every single one. Because prepping isn't just personal, it's a community. And your story might be the one that helps someone else survive. Stay sharp, stay stocked, and we'll see you in the next one.